with more and more governors defecting into the ruling All Progressives Congress, the hope looks bleak, and there seems to be no optimism in the horizon, as Nigeria remains retrogressive under the so-called All Progressives Congress. So the defections gives room for serious concern as to the future of Nigeria. More so, the coalition political party, the African Democratic Congress, seems to be stagnating, and it seems that several uncertainties surround the coalition. By the last count, after the defection of the Bayelsa State Governor Duyildiri and Enugu State Governor Peter Mbah, the People's Democratic Party, the foremost opposition political party, going by number of governors and elected officers in the National Assembly, has become more desolate and is getting desolate, becoming a shadow of itself. And so its hope of revival is extremely dim. So what next for Nigeria? What hope for Nigeria? As I said, there is no optimism in the horizon, but all hope should not be lost, because 2027 is still a little far away. It's not very far away, but it's not as close as to say all hope is lost. All hope is not lost as long as a person is still active, and we still have active months during which something can still be done. The fear is that the same so-called All Progressives Congress, retrogressing Nigeria since 2015 till date 2025, will now continue in 2027 with the re-election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. For all we know, the first term is the term that elected officers usually use to seek re-election by their actions. But from day one, fuel subsidy is gone. All other subsidies are gone. Workers are paid less than living wage. Sending children to school at all levels has become something else, including feeding, transportation, getting materials for the children, and so on. So life has become a nightmare. Insecurity unabated, except for those deceiving themselves. Go to where in Nigeria? So you have expansion of terror, armed banditry, expansion of armed robbery in unexpected places. So, and now to imagine, not just imagination, to experience opposition political parties defecting into the same party, retrogressing Nigeria since 2015 till date, always with empty promise. But Tinubu has defined himself beyond repair, perpetuating the war against the Boko Haram Muslim community, perpetuating herdsmen terrorism, doubling himself as petroleum minister, and there is no area of improvement. So because all his policies fuel mushrooming and bandits, and banditry and terrorism, armed robbery, criminality. All his policies are fueling criminal activities. So there's no justifiable reason for opposition politicians to be decamping into his party. And the song they are singing is that he is doing well, therefore they are impressed. But again, where do even well-meaning opposition politicians, into which party do they defect? The opposition coalition that has adopted the African Democratic Congress ADC as its political platform should have been the natural party into which opposition politicians should be decamping. But hardly is anything sure about the ADC. Everything is held in abeyance. So this is the issue. Nothing is sure about the ADC. But all hope should not be lost. All these political parties that we can mention are just about 6 out of 67 registered political parties in Nigeria. So you can mention the All Progressives Congress, the People's Democratic Party, the Labour Party, the Social Democratic Party, the All Nigeria People's Party, and the African Democratic Congress. You can also mention the All Progressives Grand Alliance to be the 7th one, but that is APGA. But APGA has said its own goal is not the presidential position, but to support any president in power at the center. That is his own goal. So we can count 6, or let's say 7. If we count 7, then we say there are still 60 registered political parties, giving hope that these 60 political parties can still form an alliance with which Nigerians can be happy and hopeful. Because as for the ADC now, other than criticizing the actions, the obviously wrong actions of the APC, it is not itself clearly defined. I don't know whether as I speak, Atiku Abubakar has registered as a member of the party, whether Peter Obi has registered as a member of the party, but that's just by the way. Who is the presidential candidate that is targeted for the party? Everything in uncertainty, wrapped in uncertainty. I mean, So how far away is 2027? When the All Progressives Congress was coming on board, his presidential candidate was not left in doubt. Even though anybody contested with him, the whole of Nigerians basically know who the presidential candidate was. So they are good and they are very, everybody is committed, everybody is united and so on. But now, so Nigerians, we don't yet have opposition political party that you can say is ready, is on ground, and is sure to give a good fight to the APC. That's the point. The former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, that was the point he was making. And there is no argument. Yes, all hope is not lost. We still have some active months within which to put together a viable coalition, short of the likes of Atiku Abubakar, Hashim, Olawepo Hashim, Atiku, they are in the same camp. They are just gunning for themselves. I don't know whether to mention Omoyele Sowore if he has not repented. So political actors who are only fighting for themselves to become the president rather than thinking of the best for Nigeria, such that they will be ready to compromise and say, so that Nigeria can move forward, let us submit to a person for the sake of Nigeria. Atiku is not ready for that. Not to mention Peter Obi, who also appeared to be drumming support for him, saying that where a person comes from does not matter. But we know it does. It does. We are psychological human beings. No people want to be marginalized. No zone want to be marginalized. North will not want to be marginalized. Neither will South want to be marginalized. It's the same thing when you talk of zone. For political order, for political balance, justice, and equity, without which there can be no peace. And without progress, without peace, you cannot talk of progress. And that's why Nigeria has been retrogressed since 2009 till date, fighting the Boko Haram Muslim community, to which the so-called All Progressives Congress added herdsmen terrorism. And now Bola Ahmed Tinubu, fuel subsidy is gone, all other subsidies are gone, leaving nothing for Nigerians to enjoy. So on what basis are the opposition politicians trooping into the party? On the basis of self-seeking and not for the good of the nation. As simple as that. Atiku Abubakar, is high time he is parked aside. Yes, excluded for whatever future coalition is coming on board. As I've said, any politician who is fighting only for his own emergence as the president should not qualify to be party to it. But people who are ready to support whatever will move Nigeria forward, it's not too late. So that's where the hope lies now, in the fact that it is not too late to for opposition political parties to unite and submit to the best thing for Nigeria, and not that I am the best, who is better than me. That, and that's why the desperation of Muhammadu Buhari landed Nigeria in nothing but retrogression. The desperation of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is my turn is landing Nigeria nowhere than in retrogression, security-wise and economically. So for any Nigerian to now say the next thing is to support the re-election of Bola Ahmed Tinubu because of his economic reform of fuel subsidy is gone, all other subsidies are gone, and paying workers less than living wage, yes, sinking Nigeria in worse debts than ever.